Hola, mi amigos, mi amores. My name is Amari Watson, and I will be speaking on the awesomeness of world building and how the innovations of world building throughout time have advanced, further creativity. World building is the practice of creating fictional worlds for the purpose of storytelling. Examples of which could be fairy tales, video games, TV shows, film, and myth and legends. The progress of world building over time started out centuries ago when at first we had oral scribes that would pass down stories orally. Normally these stories would be myths and legends of kings, queens, gods, and deities. The first innovation would of course been scribing, bookmaking, and scroll keeping. Scribes would write down these stories for us in medieval times. Eventually, we would progress so far that we could have these mythological stories turned into video games, such as the Norse mythology being adapted into God of War Ragnarok, one of my most favorite video games ever. Kratos is dope, Freya is dope, Atreus is dope. Please play the game. It's awesome. My central thesis or claim would be through human progress, world building has evolved to encompass many different forms of creation which allow for greater creativity and exploration of world building. The beginning of world building, as I stated before, normally incorporated legends, tales, and myths, many of these myths being told orally until scribes were able to write them down. Examples of these tales would be the tales of King Arthur, the tales of Nordic myth like Odin, the All-Father, tales of the world serpent, otherwise known as Jormungandr, Fenrir, and Hel, all the children of Loki, the trickster, children of Loki and Angrboda. And Skoll and Hati, the wolves who chased the sun and moon. In the beginning, world building could only be accomplished through oral passage and imagination, but then came books. Books. After the creation of scribing stories into scrolls and books, it allowed for stories to be saved for posterity, and when stories of such grandeur can be saved, they can be extended and added upon, especially with the creation of the printing press. Anyone could print their own stories, which brings us to A Song of Ice and Fire. A Song of Ice and Fire is a book series that began in 1991, written by George R.R. Martin. It details the fantasy world of Westeros, in which noble houses fight for the Iron Throne. It has magics, zombies, and most importantly, dragons. This book series would become so famous that it would get adapted into 2 TV series. The first and most prominent of which being Game of Thrones, which ran from 2011 to 2019, and the current TV series, House of the Dragon, which aired this year, 2022, and is still currently airing. Season 2 will come out in the next 2 years. These TV shows allow for the further development and creation of these stories to the point where you know very well how obsessed I am with dragons. Now, if I was only reading books about dragons, would I still think dragons are cool? Yes. But to see these dragons on the screen, they look so realistic that you would almost think they're real animals that existed in our time. Drogon, Caraxes, Vhagar. These are the names of dragons that exist within Game of Thrones. And for me, they're as real as any other animal. They're as real as my dog. And they only feel as real as they do through the innovation of TV shows, such as CGI and editing. Through this, we can take stories that we could only think of in our heads and make them real. Like, as I said before, Drogon, Caraxes, Vhagar, Vermithor, these dragons are as real to me as my dog. With the further development of film, fictional worlds that were created in books or in mythos are now able to be brought to life through the visual arts of film and video games. As you can see here, we have Bellatrix Lestrange, who's using magic. Now, if you were to read Harry Potter, you can imagine what magic would look like, and you could come up with anything. But the film then displays for us what we're looking at. We can see green spells, spells that we could never think of in our head. Here's Jormungandr, the world serpent from Nordic mythology. You could read, Nordic myths all you want, but to see Jormungandr in a video game, to see what he could be envisioned as through the ideas of story makers and world builders and creators, it makes him feel more real. It makes it a greater and better experience. It allows for further creativity. And here you have a fictional character, Kratos, fighting against Thor himself, Thor Odinson, the god of thunder, the god of lightning, fighting against a fictional character named Kratos, again from the video game God of War. This is awesome. This could have not been accomplished without the further innovations of film and video games to help spread the creativity of world building. No medieval scholar could have ever thought of something like this centuries ago, but through the further innovations of world building through film, videos, video games, TV shows, we can see Thor Odinson, god of lightning, god of thunder, fight against Kratos, the god of war. Awesome. Was good. In conclusion, world building as a story-making practice has expanded beyond humanity's wildest dreams. We have entered an era where story makers can use technology to create worlds once thought to be only seeable in our dreams. We can see dragons, we can see magic, we can see gods through these great innovations of tech and thinking throughout the years. At the end of the day, you can say a story, speak it out into the world, but there's nothing as awesome as being able to see the story written down into a book, or even better yet, displayed on a screen, either as a film, a TV show, or a video game. And these further technological innovations help enhance creativity. These creations have expanded world building beyond any reason to the point where we could make any world come to life, which is an amazing thing, in my opinion. Extremely awesome. Here are some of my references.